Hey everyone, Dave Johnson here with CyberNorth. Welcome to I Get Asked This a Lot. Today's question is, can I automate the backup of Nutanix data at rest encryption keys? And the answer is yes. Yes, you absolutely can. I use PowerShell to do it. Just quickly, Nutanix, if you have the license for it, you do have the ability to do data at rest encryption with software, so you don't need the self-encrypting drives. It works great. Highly recommend it. And Nutanix is a best practice. They want you to back up those keys in case you ever need them. So let's take a look at what this looks like. Okay, so here's my Nutanix cluster, and here is an alert that is saying, hey, you need to back up your encryption keys. By default, Nutanix is going to rotate these keys, I believe, once a year, or if you add a node to the cluster, if the cluster changes somehow, it's going to rotate those keys, and you'll get this warning. So there's no reason we can back up these keys. We don't have to wait for this warning. We can back these keys up every month, every day, every hour if we want to. It's super easy to do. And one customer, they are going through a project right now with us, and they're going to end up with, I don't know, 4 or 5 different Nutanix clusters that all have data at rest encryption enabled, and they want a way to automate that. So I don't necessarily get asked this a lot, but I got asked recently, and I thought it was pretty cool. So anyway, this is what the warning looks like. If we go in and look at the settings here for data at rest encryption and manage keys, this is the way that you would actually go about backing it up. You would put in a password to use to encrypt the backup that you take, and then save it as a file somewhere, and then if you ever need it, you have it. We can automate this process, so you don't have to go to the UI on a regular basis. I like automating things. And we can rekey this at any time as well. You just click rekey and it rekeys it. So how are we going to automate this? I couldn't actually find a PowerShell commandlet that would let me back it up, but there is an NCLI command that will allow you to back it up. So that's what I used. I did it with PowerShell though. So a couple of things. You need the Nutanix commandlets installed. You need the Posh SSH module installed. That's what we're using to SSH into the cluster, to a CVM, and run the command. And then we're using Posh SSH also to SCP the file to somewhere. So we're a pretty basic PowerShell script. We're loading the Nutanix module, connecting to Prism Central, listing out the clusters that Prism Central is managing, and then we're going to connect to each one of those clusters, and we're going to check to see if software encryption is enabled. And if it is enabled, we are going to SSH into that Nutanix cluster. We're going to issue the NCLI data at rest encryption backup software encryption keys command, save that to a folder on the CVM, and then scrape it out with an SCP command. So now I'm also leveraging Cohesity. So all I did was created a view in Cohesity. Let me see here, called Key Backup, and this is where SCP is going to send the file. And then I just have this set to, if we look here at settings, I have a protection job for this. I'm doing this monthly. So I'm going to take a snapshot of this view on the first Sunday of the month at 2 p.m. And here on my Windows server, just a utility server, I have this PowerShell script running the first Sunday of each month at 1:30. This does not take a long time to run at all. So here's the one that I did yesterday. I'm just going to go ahead and delete this from my view, and we'll run this command just so I can prove that it works. I'm happy to, if you want to pause the video and copy everything down, feel free, that's fine. If you need any assistance or have any questions on this script, please reach out to me. I tried to add some comments in here to help you make this work for your environment. So here's the file that we just backed up. Everything works, and it'll have the date stamp for when this ran and everything. So again, you could run this every single day if you wanted to. It works pretty well. So if anybody has a better way of doing this, please feel free to share that with me. I'd be happy to hear how that would work. Okay, well, that's all for today, and we'll see you next time.